Maybe rounding off, I must mention one of the coincidents on the 6th on both operations. The first one in Katisomlefi's house, the team was approached by the driver, who then asked the team, and we have an affidavit also to that effect, indicating that is the team aware that Kadisomleaf is a friend of the minister as they are arresting him. Now, on the afternoon's operation, when the team now is at Matlala's house, he also indicates that they are messing up his plan or schedule because he was supposed to be meeting the minister at that time. So that is another coincidence of the 6th on two different operations.
I think that takes us then through to the events leading up to the disbandment, because in under that particular topic, you speak about the raid that you conducted on the 6th of December at Mr. Matlala's residence. And you indicate in paragraph 127 of your statement that a second operation was implemented on the 6th of December 2024, which relates to the kidnapping of Jerry Bushocha. Now, if you could just briefly take us through what happened at the residence of Mr. Ket Matlala, and just briefly explain whether you have managed to, what you discovered while you were visiting the residence of Mr. Matlala.
Thank you. As I indicated earlier on, that it was two operations in one on the same day. We were conducting the lawful search without a warrant based on the information that we were having, which was on the verge then of disappearing if we did not act. But be as it may, hence the team from the special task force that we had to rope in from another province was for that particular operation, because we know and we knew that around Mr. Matlala, there are special forces and special task force former members that are there. So because it was then a surprise search operation, we had then to get the proper capabilities. And then indeed, that operation was conducted in the afternoon of the same day. It was with regards to the case of kidnapping of Jerry Bushocha, that the team was investigating, and then with the view of getting evidence that the team had confirmed that it's there. But it's one of the incidents that I've mentioned, that when the team got there, they were then informed that the Mr. Matlala was waiting for them. He's aware as to where and what time they were preparing to advance to the house. Hence, then the operation was not as successful as it was expected to be. And then moving on to paragraph 129. During that operation, then it was established that Mr. Matlala was not in compliance with the Firearms Control Act. Hence, then the inquiry was registered, and then 4 of his firearms, as well as 5 cell phones, were confiscated. Then under that Brooklyn Inquiry 1 of 12, 2024. So as then the investigation could continue. I've already touched on the first coincident of the minister's name being dropped in both operations. And then another coincident on the same day, on the 6th of December, at the time when these two operations were ongoing. This is the time Advocate Johnson sent a formal email to both Divisional Commissioner of Detectives as well as the Deputy Provincial Commissioner of Detectives in Gauteng, requesting access to the dockets that had been reported by the Member of Parliament, Mr. Fadel Adams, against me, the executive of crime intelligence, that is responsible for GCI ops. The dockets were requested as a matter of agency on that day, the 6th of December, when the operation was on. That is attached then as Annexure SDK 13, that agent request of those dockets. Hence, then, as I said, when I started the discussion under this paragraph, that the December, especially the 6th, was the beginning of the problems of PKTT and Khumalo. That ran up until now, because there are lots of coincidences that are very difficult to associate them with something else other than the protection of who we started to deal with on the same day, the 6th of December.
Just on that, General Khumalo, before you move on from that paragraph 130, where you refer to the letter by ADHOC, which we can see on page 120 of the big bundle.
Yeah, just before you respond, General, let's take Honorable Malem.
General, what's happening to the case of Jerry Boshoga? Because it has been going on, and it creates a very bad image of you and the crime intelligence and the police. That we can't find one man, the whole police system can't find one man who has been missing, identifiable businessman. Can you imagine if a villager that looks after goats disappears? It will be worse than what we are experiencing now. What's happening to that case? Because you touched on it before.
Right. Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Member. The case is under investigation, but it has been having those challenges. During that time, the team was working on that case as instructed by the National Commission. But soon after that operation, that case was reallocated by the Deputy National Commissioner, James Bia, to another team. So up until recently, when then the National Commissioner has directed that the team must resume the investigation of the same case.
Which team? The first one or the severe one? They directed which team to resume the investigation?
The team that conducted an operation on the 6th, the case was taken away from them soon after that operation, until recently, when the National Commissioner has directed that the team must be reassigned that case. So the team has started now to continue with the investigation that they were at the advanced stage in December 2024.
Honorable Malo. Can I check? I see there is a flurry of hands. Honorable Matthews, Honorable Ngola, Honorable Sangoni, Chief Whip, Honorable Skosana, Bangazita. Let's take the hands in that order.
Mine is just before we move back. We were talking about the raid at Matlala's place. When he was before us, he said that the team, okay, I wouldn't use the word abuse, but the children were not moved in a safe place and neither was his wife. Can you speak to that? Like what precautions were taken to ensure, I mean, the kids are small. The wife was not necessarily involved and he painted a horrible picture of what the team did when they did the raid. So if you could clarify that for us, please, General.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Member. I can confirm I touched on professionalism that we instilled in the team in dealing with whether you are a suspect or you are a witness. We are always very professional, and the team confirmed that the operation in Matlala's house was conducted in a normal, professional way that we normally conduct operations. Maybe some of the evidence will come as I continue when there were attempts to open cases against the team and the wife did not buy the story of writing that statement. But I'm going to touch on that. But our procedure is simple. Each and every operation, there is a commander that is in charge. Everybody is acting under the command of that commander. If there are minor children, is the commander who takes care, him or herself, of minors, as well as if we have confirmed that there are also females within the target, that there are females that are going to take care of the females. And normally the team won't deal with a person that they are not there for.
Honorable, okay. Honorable Matthews, are you satisfied? Honorable Ngola.
Thank you very much, Chair. General, let's go back to Honorable Malema's question. I think I missed you on what distracted the first team for the second team to be appointed. Where was the first team extracted? From CI or from the PKTT? Or it was a multidisciplinary team as well? The one that was investigating the case of...
It was... Oh, sorry, Honorable Chairman. It was the GCI Ops, which is assisted by PKTT, that was investigating up until the 6th. As I indicated that from the 19th, there are specialists that came in to work on these two cases. So it happened that because on the second case of kidnapping, you needed a proper and thorough digital forensic analysis to analyze the video footages that are so there was a lot that was done during that time also on that case. Hence, then we were ready for the search and seizure, unannounced one, because of evidence that we had. So it was the same team. But then soon after the operation of the 6th, and then the case was reallocated to the team that is in the office of the Deputy National Commissioner, Crime Detection.
But General, the first team was allocated by you. Who withdrew it? for the second team to be allocated?
The first
The first team was allocated by the National Commission.
by the National
Did the
Commission.
National Commission withdraw the first team for General Spear to appoint his own team?
No, he did not.
So it was a parallel team in a way.
A parallel team. I can.
So
confirm.
General Spear is behaving like a parallel National Commissioner. Thank you, Chair. I think the General can't answer the last question. Let me forgive him.
What is the answer or the opinion, General?
No, thank you, Chairperson, for rescuing me with my opinion. Yes, if I have to voice my opinion, I can agree with that narrative because one would not expect that what National Commissioner has instructed and then someone else must come and instruct otherwise. But one can say it was the chaotic moment. As I say, chaos started from the 6th. So as these things were happening, building up to January, we are still going to see as we move along the timeline as to how chaotic the situation was.
Can we proceed? Honorable Sangonia.
Chair, I suspect I'm covered. I wanted to know from the general what led them to Mr. Matlala's house as a prime suspect. But I think the general has said that there was a lot of digital forensic work that was done. I'm covered. Thank you, Chair.
Chief Whip.
No, thanks, Chair. General, my question is very linked to I think the latest question from Honorable Ngola. Has there been any opportunity for Spear to explain, General Spear to explain, why has he taken a decision to appoint a task team over and above an existing one appointed by the National Commissioner? So that's my first question. Has there been an explanation provided in that regard? The second question linked to that, when the National Commissioner became aware of that parallel process and yourself, what was your conclusion about what could be the motives of General Spear in carrying out an operation like that, parallel to the one that is sanctioned by the National Commissioner? I'm asking this question because I assume that, as we were told by the generals who came before you, that there's something called NASCOM, or a body of a national commissioner with provincial commissioners, where the lieutenant generals who are at the head office also attend.
Yeah.
But it's POC or something, yeah. But beside that, I think there would be a direct communication between a national commissioner and any of his deputies. So I'm asking in that context, has there been any explanation provided either directly, one-on-one, or in the board? Thanks.
Right. Thank you, Chair. Maybe giving the response, Honorable Chair, that will cover both questions. There's never been an explanation, but then one cannot be able to say at this level because one is reporting to the Deputy National Commissioner, Crime Detection, General Khumalo, is reporting them. Now, if General Khumalo is called by the National Commissioner in the absence of the Deputy National Commissioner and direct that this case must be investigated by the GCI Ops, one then will presume that the National Commissioner would have informed the Deputy National Commissioner. So we were moving along with the investigation with that on mind, only to realize afterwards. Now again, when the reversal is happening, the Deputy National Commissioner wanting to reallocate the docket to his team, one might think that there has been a discussion between the two of them and the National Commissioner, only to find that when one then gave the report, the docket is no longer with us, then the instruction of reallocating came from the National Commission.
Through you, Chair. So the reallocation back coming from the National Commissioner was going back to the original team, or you had to set up a different team?
No, the original team.
Thank you, Chair.
Charlie. Honorable Skosana.
I was covered, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Nombalo.
Yeah, no, just one question, Chair. General, is it ordinary for the Deputy National Commissioner to change a team unilaterally to relocate? Is it a ordinary practice?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Member. It's not ordinary. It's not in line even with the discipline of what that is expected in the SAPS. So one would always presume that the instruction from the Deputy National Commissioner is something that has been discussed with the National Commission.
So General Spear acted extraordinary by doing what he did.
Yes, I can.
He did the unprecedented.
Yes, I can confirm.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Advocate Mukhaitz.
Okay, thank you, Chair. General Khumalo, I referred General to page.
Let's take Bangazit. I think he was on the list. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Honorable Chairperson. In fact, I have substantially been covered because my question was actually in relation to what Honorable Mola has already asked, because there was a gap, in my view, from the time when the original team actually did the investigation and at the time when the investigation was taken over by General Spear and given to another team. So that gap to me was problematic, but I'm troubled with the coincidence of the 6th of December, where Advocate Johnson actually also comes into the fray on the same day, demanding the immediate, he used urgently, requesting, the dockets, should I call them dockets? Yeah, dockets, that those dockets be handed over to her as a matter of urgency, all happening on the 6th. What would have actually prompted her to demand those dockets to actually be handed over to her? And she's raising a question of the trust deficit issue on a matter that was originally reported to the police, but suddenly she actually is raising an issue of the trust deficit with the SAPS. Why would the complainant go to the SAPS in the first place if the issue of trust was his concern?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Member. One was reflecting on the coincidence of because the dockets are for October. So now it has been November, it has been December, and the dockets were were dealt with, were being worked on by the division inspectorate as it's indicated in the same letter. But then the agency comes on the 6th when we are busy with this takedown operation.
Thank you, Chair. General Khumalo, just while we're there, I referred General to that particular letter because I wanted clarity on just confirmation whether the events that happened on the 6th of December, this letter that was ultimately written for the request of the dockets, this is also the very same. Are these the dockets that ultimately led to General Khumalo's arrest in June 2025? Is this connected to your arrest that happened in June 2025?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, honorable members. Indirectly, yes, because it's the same complainant. But what happened, because on these cases, according to the report from legal services, there was nothing tangible. And then a new case was registered by ADHOC other than this, which is a proclaimed case now where we were arrested in June.
General, then I'd like us to go back to the events that leading up to the disbandment, and we've got quite a bit to cover there. I'm getting concerned about time because we've been put on time by the chair. But in your statement, you've mentioned that after the 6th of December, after that raid, you went back to Mr. Matlala's property, this time his office, and you conducted a second raid. Now we know from the evidence that was also given by Mr. Matlala that the second raid also resulted in litigation that he instituted against you for the return of certain items. And including in these items, or included in the items, was allegations that you have misappropriated jewelry and a MacBook while you were conducting your raid. Could you just briefly take us through the events of in relation to the second operation that you conducted?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, honorable members. Maybe then to save time, I'll follow the timeline. Operation is on the 6th. On the 12th, the team returns the cell phones. There is no litigation yet, but on the 12th, the team, because as I've indicated, we are the team is self-sufficient. Everything, the turnaround time of all the analysis or of work is very short because we have dedicated capacity and dedicated specialists. So the cell phones were returned on the 12th, and then on the 13th, and then Mr. Matlala signed the affidavit at High Court demanding his cell phones that were brought back on the 12th already. So on the 13th, he then filed the affidavit at court. So the only thing that was still outstanding were firearms. But in his affidavit, he's including even the cell phones that had already been returned. And then on the 17th, he filed then the notice of motion. On the 18th, as agreed upon between the team, Mr. Matlala and his lawyer, that was the appointment date to say that, because on the 6th, when the team took the 4 firearms, they wanted the rest of the firearms. But then Mr. Matlala indicated that they are on the sites. I reflected on the team being professional, understanding business. And then the team asked as to when can you be able then to bring the firearms together so as we can finalize the compliance inspection. And then it was agreed that will be on the 18th of December. And then indeed the team went there only to find that the responsible person who's having the safe key is not there. And then Mr. Matlala and the lawyer requested the postponement of that compliance, of which the team agreed to the following day. Hence, then on the 19th, the team went back, and then that compliance did take place, and 18 firearms then were confiscated for ballistic testing. Then on the 20th of December, that is when the team learned now of, because the previous date we saw on the papers, but we only learned on the 20th that Mr. Matlala has instituted high court proceedings for the return of his firearms as well as cell phones. To touch on the point, I think under paragraph 137, the interdict was to prevent any further harassment and the return. I'm touching on harassment after I've indicated on the working together on the 18th and on the 19th. Now, but then on the court papers, it's harassment and the return of the following items: the Rolex watch, which was not part of what the team confiscated, and the watch, yes, the firearms, the MacBook was also not part of the cell phones. The team took 5, not 2, but he wanted 2 on the court papers, as well as 2 rifles and a Beretta 9mm pistol. That is what was listed. Then, but other than the cell phones and the firearms, the team did not confiscate, even in the form of stealing those items. And also on paragraph 138, one is tempted to also indicate, because in the founding affidavit is saying he was visited by 100 police officers from Special Task Force. No, there were not 100, there was only 8. But then, as I indicated, that when we come and then you will think that we are 1,000. And then there were 8 Special Task Force members and 8 NIU or TRT members, the members that were there according to our deployment plan. So we are confirming that other than the firearms which were taken for ballistic testing, the cell phones were returned 5 days after the 6th. They were returned on the 12th. The allegations were in fact fabricated. The only items that were removed, as I've indicated, is firearms as well as 5 cell phones, not 2. Then the opposing papers were prepared by the team as well as the legal services of SAPS and were submitted then as per SDK 16. That is what happened then up until the between the 20th and the 22nd. And then on the 23rd, now, because as I've said, I said maybe so as we save time, we do it in a timeline format. Mr. Mkhosi is sending a WhatsApp. Now, this is the information that is coming from Matlala's phone in May, but it's filling in the gaps of what transpired in December. Then on the 23rd, Mr. Mkhosi is sending a WhatsApp text to Mr. Matlala wherein he is stating IPIT guy name, my brother, any news from IPIT. So that is the discussion now that is taking place during the time when there are cases that Matlala needs to open against the team. And then still on the 23rd, I was called in a meeting with the former minister, Begicele, not in Durban, in Pretoria, where he informed me that he had a meeting with Mr. Matlala, and Mr. Matlala informed him that he was requested to fabricate the allegations in relation to the jewelry and the MacBook as part of his founding affidavit, so as then General Sbia can have a case that he can be able to deal with me with accordingly. And then that is what we are used to if we are operators, that there will be those cases that will be fabricated and be opened. But then, as I'm indicating on 143, that Mr. Matlala was advised to fabricate the charges against me by Lieutenant General Sbia in order to provide General Sbia with departmentally, including possible, with something to charge me departmentally, including then my dismissal. My response to that, I did confirm to the former minister that, yeah, that is coming from our normal operation that we conducted on the 6th, and further compliance inspections that we conducted. We have returned the cell phones, and the firearms are still undergoing ballistic testing. As soon as we are done, and then if there is nothing wrong, we will return them back to him. But if there is something wrong, then we are going to charge him as it's a norm. Then that was the end of the meeting. And then the matter, then I'm going back now to the High Court matter. The matter then was set for the 24th of December. And then it did not continue because Matlala decided not to proceed with the matter. The court made an order that the matter be removed from the roll, and a copy of the order is attached also as SDK 17. The state attorney that was appointed to deal with the matter and the counsel on behalf of the police, they were at court on that day, ready to proceed with the matter. The allegations that there was any settlement agreement entered to with Matlala are false, because the firearms were not back yet. They were still with our ballistic experts. And then we were continuing with our plan as it was planned. But then the matter then did not continue at court based on Mr. Matlala's withdrawal.
Okay. And so before we move forward, and I know you want to probably note paragraph 146 as well, and elaborate on that. But as you proceed further, I'd like you to continue with a reference to the annexure bundle, because there you refer directly to WhatsApp messages from paragraph 147. So as you proceed in your statement, maybe take us through from the big file, paragraph 1, page 174. So now in paragraph 1, from paragraph 141 to 169 in your statement, it suggests that the minister played a role in the disbandment of the PKTT. So Could you maybe explain to us, with reference to what is already in your statement, how you arrived at that conclusion, and take us through the text that you've attached to your statement, General?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Must I start at 146?
I think that's where you left off.
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. On paragraph 146, one is flagging on the minister that was called by the meeting that was called by the minister, where the tender of Mr. Matlala was discussed. The reason for flagging that is, since the Medicare that one was not aware of, we are from operational environment, we are not privy to who's having which tender. Then one will take it that SAPS, more especially the directorates that are within the support environment are the ones that are dealing with tenders. Then there was no noise up until the operation of the 6th of December. And after that operation on the 6th of December, in the court papers that were submitted by Mr. Matlala, there was an inclusion of this issue of a tender. And that document, as they normally operate, leaking the documents that they submit anywhere else, it was leaked. It was all over the print and social media from the 20th. Then it made headlines up until the minister called the meeting on the 24th with SAPS management to discuss this tender. The point that one is driving to is, was this meeting, discussion, and the cancellation of the tender going to happen if there was no operation on the 6th of December, which then resulted in the High Court issues, where then this tender issue was also part of, because that's when it became known to the general public. So we are saying basically the operation on the 6th was the cause for the meeting of the 24th and the subsequent cancelling of the tender later on. Then moving to 1.147, then going through the WhatsApp communication, which are also attached from SDK 19, page 174. In my affidavit, I did not include all of them. I only included the ones that are talking to the subject matter.
Yeah, the ones referred to in your statement are attached.
Let's take Honorable Mathis.
Thank you, Chair. I was hoping that I'd ask these questions before we moved on to the next theme. Mine was on your meeting with the former minister, Bekele. Were you not shocked, General, that he called you, and did he say to you before the actual meeting what he wanted to talk to you about? And also, was the meeting around, did it come across to you that he was paid by Matlala to sort of make his situation go away? Because according to the testimony of Kat Matlala, he said he paid Bekele also to help him get his firearms back. And that was the biggest thing he was worried about, that SAPS took his firearms. He couldn't get his firearms and he was desperate. That's why he reached out to Bekele. So you, as an official of SAPS, meeting with the former minister, I mean, I know he was your boss at some point. Was it a sound decision for you to do that? Did he offer you money also to be on the side or to side or make this case of Kealeboga? You need to tell us that, because you're just giving us a bird's eye view of what happened there. And I'm sure, knowing the former minister, Bekele, he can talk. So can you give us a little bit more details there? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable members, let me start by saying, even if one can do the communication analysis, you won't find any call between me and the former minister, even during the time when he was the minister. I try my best not to learn things that I do not know. So there was no communication. I won't say I was shocked, but the message when it came and the agency of the matter through a person who was requested that I must make myself available, it's very important. Then there is nothing else. In terms of did I suspect something, there is nothing that I suspected. I was just interested in what is it that is so important. Then when then the meeting did take place, he did then explain to me about the plan that is being hacked for me then to be dealt with in terms of what I've explained as a concerned former minister. That's what I picked up from him.
So, General, you're saying that the minister called you, or the former minister wanted to have this meeting with you. Are you comfortable to tell us who he asked to give you that message, to make yourself available? And are you saying that's all? He just wanted to warn you. It was nothing else. There was nothing else in your engagement. It was from the bottom of his heart. He felt the need to tell you that there's a plot against you.
Yes, starting from the messenger who was then requested for me to make myself available. I could pick up that there is something important that I need to avail myself. I must say, I last saw him in person and even, during his farewell function. So I think it was after some months that I've never seen him. I've indicated the position about talking. So the person who then facilitated the meeting was Lieutenant General Hlongwane, who then said, the former minister said, he has to see you. It's important. It's for your own good. And that's when then I made myself available for those few hours, minutes.
Honorable Ndalo.
Covered by Honorable Matthias, Chair. Thanks.
Honorable Sango.
Chair, I want to say I'm covered, but I don't think I'm hearing the General correctly. General, are you disputing the evidence that former Minister Ndalo put before this committee, and that Mr. Matlala, I think Mr. Matlala confirmed, well, it was Mr. Matlala, in fact, it wasn't the former minister, that while they were together, General Ndalo picked up the phone and called you and said, give back this man his guns and then the guns were then returned? Because Mr. Matlala said that call was made in his presence.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Member. That I heard it for the first time through Mr. Matlala's evidence. What I knew and what I know and what was already on my affidavits was what I'm explaining, that it was facilitated as an agent meeting and for my own good from the concerned former minister. That was the reason I also availed myself for that meeting. And then when he told me that, and then I took note, but I was not shocked because by this time already, as my problems and the PKTT started from the 6th of December. So it was not like I was shocked that there is this plan. I took note of it. But to confirm again, Honorable Chair, there was no call that was received. It was a meeting, face-to-face meeting.
Thank you, Chair. I suppose Mr. Matlala could have been lying. I'll come back to it during my question session. Thanks, Chair.
Honorable.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. If my memory serves me well, because I remember a follow-up question was made to Mr. Matlala about the Khumalo he was speaking about. I think he made an indication that he was talking about Brigadier Khumalo, who works in the police station wherein the guns were kept. Because at some point, I remember we were confusing the two Khumalos. And then he corrected us, he corrected the committee. He said, no, I'm not talking about Khumalo, who's the head of intelligence, of crime intelligence. I'm talking about Brigadier Khumalo.
That is a correct assertion of what he said. My records agree with that.
Is that one of the battery, Chair, not this one? Is that one of the battery, not this one? Thank you, Chair.
Advocate Mohaitz. Yeah, even here there is another. Eh? What are you saying, Jali?
I'm saying the ice boy, Chair. Thank you.
The other one is also a Khumalo. Eh?
Yes, Chair.
Okay. Advocate Mohaitz.
Yes, Chair. The question that was put to General Khumalo was, he's indicated that the minister's directive to disband the PKTT, or rather that the events that unfolded, and this can be seen from the text messages between Kate Matlala and Mogotsi. In his statement, General Khumalo, you suggest that these events seem to have been directly linked to the directive that was subsequently issued by the minister. And my question to you was, how did you arrive at that conclusion with a reference to the WhatsApp messages that you've attached to your statement?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The build up to the 31st, we see, if you look at what is happening on the ground to us and what is discussed. Remember, what is discussed, we see it in May. So before May, we were not aware because we only picked up the WhatsApp communication in May during the arrest of Matlala. But then when you look at the activities as built up, hence then I started with the WhatsApp message on the 24th. where Mr. Mokhozi is asking Mr. Matlala, how is the court proceedings? Now you link that up with the High Court proceedings that I've just explained as to what happened. And then after that, then they were on a WhatsApp call, the two of them. Then on the 25th, Mr. Mokhozi is sending another text to Mr. Matlala, reminding him of three things. He says, one, I peed. So it means he did not get the I peed guy response. Now, two, court case date. So again, referring to, and then the third one is a 25%, we may lose accommodation and flight packages. That is in line with then the deal that they were having, that Mr. Matlala was going to pay for some of the delegates that were going for January 8th statement or coming this side. Then the next one, on the same day, Mr. Matlala is now responding on the previous messages. He's just saying, let me know when you are back. The bank's open tomorrow. I'll circle that deposit thing. So he's responding to point number 3. And then on the first and the second point, he says, the rest we'll discuss whenever you are available. Then moving on to on the same day, Christmas Day, when everybody is happy. Then on the same day, Mokhozi is asking again, a reminder, IPID can be a breakthrough. So this is the third time now Mr. Mokhozi is asking about the IPID progress. And then Mr. Matlala replies, there is a bit of a hurdle there, but I'll fill you in. And then Mr. Mokhozi is insisting, will it work? And then Mr. Matlala then fails to hold back the answer. Then he gives the answer because he has been saying, we'll talk about it. He says, it needs someone brave enough. So that is the response from will it work. Then on the 27th of December, and then Matlala collected his own personal firearm from Brooklyn. It was the first firearm that came back from ballistic. And they all came back, but he collected only his own firearm on the 27th of December. Then on the 27th of December, so the other firearms are still at the police station, but they were all, because I think we have indicated our turnaround time for firearms that are less than 20, it's a week and a half or a week when we have to do the ballistic testing.
Honorable James.
General, thank you. I've been vindicated because Mr. Matlala, when we questioned him, he insisted that he collected all his firearms, not just the one that belonged to him. Why was it that he didn't collect the others? Were they not registered in his name?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe then fast forward, I was still going to come to that part. When were they collected? They were only collected on the 31st of December. The other firearms by Henika Mareko. So these firearms were not registered in Matlala's name, so he could not collect them. They were registered in the company's name. So he had to change the responsible person and its paperwork that you need to do for someone then to come and collect the firearms.
So you can confirm that he lied under oath when he testified and insisted that he collected all his firearms.
That is correct, Honorable Chair. I have
Thank you.
evidence in terms of registers.
Honorable Hlongwane.
Thank you, General. Ngicela clarify something la. You saying the guns were not owned by Matlala's company, right? They were owned by a certain company. You're saying that?
No, Honorable Chair, I said they were owned by the company, not him.
His company.
His company, but
Okay.
not him.
Not him personally.
Not him personally. He was only having a license of one firearm.
Okay.
So the other licenses were belonging to a company.
Is this the same company I thenge ku Mawumela?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Let's proceed, Advocate Mkhwetsi.
Because the General Khumalo was interrupted while he was going through the sequence of the WhatsApp text, I just would like to allow him to finish the sequence dealing with how these communications were linked to the directive that followed on the 31st of December.
Thank you, Chair. So on the 27th, maybe before that, on the 25th, I highlighted the persistence of Mr. Mkhwetsi to Matlala about the IPT progress. And then at the end, Matlala is responding that it looks like it's not happening. It needs someone brave enough. Now, on the 27th, Mr. Mkhwetsi sent a message to Matlala, which is a screenshot of his chat with the minister, asking if the arrest was effected. Then after receiving that, so in other words, according to our analysis and interpretation, Mr. Mkhwetsi is now showing Matlala that it's not me who wants a response, it's the minister. Look at his question. And then Matlala then is forced then to respond and saying the case needs to have assault for him to effect an arrest. He's saying he can't do arrest if there is no J88 to prove assault, and my wife is not keen to open such a case. And the guards are also, that were assaulted, are also not at my house. They are only coming back in January. They went home for Christmas. So that message is a response of the question on arrest. On paragraph 155, we are demonstrating that with these two paragraphs above, we are demonstrating that the minister's response to the question of any arrest effected cannot be construed as referring to the Stilfontein illegal mining incident, as it has been presented as evidence. Then on the 30th December, the PKTT, another very noteworthy, the PKTT ballistic analyst issues the first report that is linking the Vereeniging case firearms with other cases, including the killing of DJ Somebody. The heat is getting on hotter. And then on the 31st, then as I've indicated, Henrika then collect the firearms of Cat VIP from Brooklyn, and not Mr. Matlala as he alleged under oath. And then on the 31st, Mr. Mkhwetsi sent a screenshot about a constitutional court case, Cape Town case that he shared with the minister, saying that the minister or Sibiya can use this judgment to dismiss me, Samuel Dumisani Kumar. Then on the 31st, again, Mr. Mkhozi wrote to Mr. Matlala, reminding him about the outstanding issues. Now, this again today is the day. On the other side, I also think you must stand back. Mr. Matlala replies, stand back. I don't understand what you mean. Mr. Mkhozi says, for your safety and business, we must just fight what comes your way. And then Mr. Matlala responds to Mkhozi, this won't change my contribution towards the minister, though. I made a conscious decision and I'm not backing down. Whatever help the minister needs from my side, I'll be happy to assist. I just don't want to fight the losing battles. Then Mr. Mkhozi responds, here is our backlog and we now need to deal with this. It's the last day. I thought we spoke about it, but we did many regions. It's only 2 regions left. Is it possible for you to intervene on the membership for 2 regions at 12.5K each? Because today we must pay. This is the activities and communication of the 31st, the whole day. Then Mr. Matlala to Mkhozi, I'm sorry I missed your calls. I do not have a problem to help, but there is something I need to understand. Also hear what my concerns are. Please, like I said before, can we kindly meet whenever you have time and hear what I have to say? Then in the afternoon, the minister signs the disbandment letter. That is the business of the day on the 31st, the communication coupled with what's happening on the ground, which makes us to strongly believe that the letter and the disbandment of the PKTT was because of Mr. Matlala's complaint of harassment by the team, and Mr. Matlala was paying a lot in terms of the transitions and monies that you can refer to the Cape Town trip on the same day, talking about and the 2 regions that he needs to pay for. There is a lot, and then the letter is signed, whilst then he is having all those problems. To continue, on the 1st of January, Mr. Mkhozi writes to Matlala, good day, I have arranged a meeting for Sibiya and Minister, must have a solution. And then Mr. Mkhozi to Matlala again at night, the task team that came to your house and harassed you has been dissolved.